I don't know if I'll post this video, but let's just do it anyway. So this is a rant, and this is on Breitbart. So this Queer Eye host, I don't watch the show or anything, Jonathan, but I get what's going on here. Jonathan Van Ness sobs after Dax Shepard challenged his trans rights views. So Dax Shepard is an actor and he's a lib, but he's kind of, at least he's not. He has some spirit in him to defend, to protect himself, resist. I'm doing it through the For the Lord RPG. I'm interpreting it through the lens of For the Lord RPG, so you all can understand pagans today and back then. So when you create witches and sorcerers and warlocks and magicians, this is the kind of brain juice that's going to get you, coming up with some ideas. So what he says here is Shepard actually tries to defend conservatives in the sense of Christians, and well, they always say conservative, but we know where it's Christians. He tries to defend them and says, look, they're just, this is too fast. They don't accept all the things of transgenderism and all that. And the guy this witch sorcerer, and I like how he wants to look like a woman, but he certainly doesn't want to wax his legs. Doesn't want to go through that process. Doesn't want to go through the painful processes that women do to adorn and beautify themselves. But he wants to do all the other fun extra stuff and take over. But here he has two spells, two black magics that he uses in this interview. And I'm just going based off of the Breitbart quotes here. So the Dax says he's bummed out that, he can agree with 9 out of 10 of this trans guy's ideas, but if he just disagrees with one, then he's the enemy. And Van Ness replies, I'm not calling you a transphobe. You cannot be transphobic and still have thoughts espouse trans misogyny, espouse transphobic ideologies or beliefs, and not be transphobic. So I think this is a little off. But what he's saying here is you can't espouse these things unless you're transphobic. And transphobic is a magic word to them. Imagine them like they're going to say words to try to get their minions, their cult members riled up, white supremacists, racists. All these words they're using, that's black magic, because what they're doing is they're trying to get everyone riled up, blinded, and in hatred of the target, the Christians. So they're gonna use magical words, and I'm again interpreting it that way. Espouse trans misogyny, espouse transphobic ideologies. Transphobic. So transphobic is a magic word to them to destroy you. If you're transphobic, that's their black magic to accuse you, slander you, so that their followers hate you. So I don't know if it's a hate spell, whatever it is, they're doing it, and they're spreading it upon their minions, right? To get them to hate you. So if they hate you and they think that you are transphobic, racist, white supremacist, then the minions have the idea in their head that they can attack you now. They can attack you, they can treat you less than human. So that's the whole white supremacist thing, the racist thing, the January 6th thing. It's all about trying to dehumanize you, to destroy you. And that's one, I don't know, maybe call it dehumanizing. Whatever it is, it's rage. I call it rage, I call it in the game. But you can make up anything you want. But what it does is it gets your minions, it gives them that denouement roll that's higher, the morale roll, so that they continue on with their desire to enforce your will, or the witch's will, and treat the Christians as second class or as slaves, so they can beat them, destroy them, kill them, whatever. The second spell he uses here, because this one fails, he doesn't get what he wants out of Dax, the Shepard, the actor. So he says, this is his next spell. I could cry because I'm so tired of having to fight for little kids because they just want to be included. I wish people were as passionate about little kids, about being able to include it, or grow up as they were about fictitious women's fairness in sports. So he's using a spell to get you to surrender. He's trying to drain you. So, and in the game is draining you of vitality. Because if he drains you, you don't want to do anything. You want to, okay. Now if a witch can drain, you get a resist roll, obviously the Christians do. But if they can drain, it's basically the same as rebuke. They drain you of vitality so that you don't want to fight. You don't want to, you want to give up and back off. If your vitality goes to zero in this way, you're not in any threat of being killed, but you don't have the desire to, you're weak. You're exhausted from all this. You want to get away, and then go do something else and regain your vitality rather quickly. So you can play it that way. Now, if this happens where he drains you, your vitality goes down, and someone attacks you, you're going to be that much weaker, susceptible to that going into the negative, getting knocked out. And that, that's how you play it out in the game. So you can have a witch saying things like, I could cry, I'm so weak and tired. And they got to resist, against this, and, losing their vitality. And obviously Christians get a stronger resist than regular people. They always get like a D4 plus their spirit. They can use their prayer to resist these type of things and are aware these things are going on. If they're a really good Christian, because they're always aware of what the witches are doing. Regular people are just not aware. They're like Dax Shepard is not aware that he's being, this witch, and she's not even aware that she's doing it. She just does it. That's her magic. She just does it. She doesn't know it's magic, and it is in a sense. Not magic, right? It's psychological. It's interpretive, but it still does the same effect. The trans dude here is just trying to get him to get riled up and angry and hate conservatives. That didn't work. Dax actually did a resist roll. Didn't realize, he doesn't realize he's resisting, but he's got some spirit. But then this one definitely broke him, or made him say, I'm sorry, let's not argue about this, let's not, let's just move on to something else. So it's that kind of thing. I'm not calling you a transphobe, but you can't have trans misogyny, espouse transphobic ideologies and beliefs without being transphobic, so I'm just so tired. So that's what witches do. They manipulate. They use fear, they use it's all emotions, and they use drugs. Definitely drugs and poisons, right? I do a lot of puffing. They puff out poisons. The end results are really the same. You either lose your vitality, you get an affliction, which is a grievous wound, like you're at minus D6, you're at minus D12, you're coughing, you're dizzy, those kind of things. But the same, it's the same effect. You're at minus a penalty die to your, and it adds to your grievous wounds. If you get poisoned and then attacked, you could die, because both of those together is too much for your body. You go into shock and die. Okay, kind of thing. That's kind of the concept. Or they drain your vitality, or another one, which is rare, but I do include it, although I haven't used it myself. You can temporarily reduce one of their traits based on whatever, if you think that affects them. I just haven't used it myself. I just use vitality and basically the affliction being combined with grievous wounds to, if you get past negative D12, you die with no saves or anything. If you go to vitality 0 with these type of things, I don't worry about life saves or anything like that. But if you go to 0 or negative with physical attacks, you start doing life saves. Or is that, I think that's after you get to negative. I gotta look up the rule. Let me pause real quick. I want to make sure that's right. Let me look at my game, because I'm trying to finish the PDFs up anyway. Okay, yeah, so under the conditions here, dying, if you reach below negative vitality from violent attacks, you must make life saves. And you can get hit easily, and you can get grievous wounds, which will kill you automatically. So I try to make it a little tough. No one's died in my games, so I got to get meaner. Anyway, so back to this dude. Do I hate this guy? Me personally, Ron does hate this guy. I hate the enemy. But me, as a Christian who follows Jesus Christ, I do not hate this person. I'm still a terrible Christian, though. I don't know if I want to pray for this person or not. I mean, I want to pray for the souls of anyone, but I'm just, I'm not that good. So I don't know. What I really do pray for is God's will. And I don't want this person to go to hell, to suffer for eternity. But we need to say that is what happens. Jesus says it. If they don't accept Jesus Christ, and by accepting Jesus Christ, you accept everything he says, and his followers and his apostles. They are his voice as well. But it's sad. I read about these individuals in Romans and in Romans 1, and then in throughout all of it, but Romans 1 especially for me, and Jude. So I don't know what to say. You know, I mean, you all know what I'm talking about, but I don't know. I'm a terrible Christian, so, you know, which we all are. We're all terrible people, by the way. That's what Christianity is. We're all sinners. We all fail the glory of God. We fail to love as much as God loves us, and has given us Himself in sacrifice, and has given us the knowledge and the wisdom to know whether we are good or evil in the end. He already knows. That's the Calvin way. God already knows who's good and who's bad, and He's giving us this life to know in the end whether we're good or bad. So that's that. Remember, in the game of life, you know, pray for these people if you can, because I'm terrible at it. You know, and don't let them. They're going to call you bad names. They're going to hate you. They're going to call you things to make you less than them, transphobic, white supremacist, racist. We Christians are going to be called these things. We're being attacked now. It's pretty obvious. I mean, we don't have a bastion anymore. Obviously, we don't have a bastion in Europe. We don't have a bastion in the U.S. except for some red states. But I feel like this is the end times. I don't know. Israel exists, and the Temple Mount is being identified. So I don't know. Anyway. I'm working on the PDFs. Let me do that now. I'm gonna finish this video. Remember, in the game of life, roll holy dice.